9060 XT release details, Discord's got a new CEO, and there's some RTX 50 series heating issues. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're gonna be going over the hottest tech news I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Thursday, April 24th, 2025. I'm just gonna start off today reminding you we got a PC giveaway going on over on our Twitch channel. We got this nice APNX V1 case with the wood. It's got a 9800 X3D RTX 5090 Founders, as you can see in here, kitted out with all the Noctua stuff that you could possibly want, including the 1600 watt Seasonic Noctua power supply. That's a bad boy that's kitted out. We're giving that away over on our Twitch channel. Come and join us, twitch.tv/UFD Tech. Love to have you there. I know a lot of people would love to have more affordable graphics cards, which is why I'm here to tell you about the 9060 XT. We've got details on the release date for that, as well as the 9070 GRE. And reports are indicating that the 9060 XT should be launching on May 18th, which is strange because that is a Sunday, so it's kind of odd. It's allegedly a product announcement that's going to be happening then, but it also is kind of like slightly aligned with the fact that AMD is going to have their Computex keynote on May 21st. Nvidia has theirs on the 19th. So it's weird that they'd have the graphics card launch before the Computex keynote. Maybe they're going to have some strange two-step situation here where they have multiple announcements in a given week, or the 18th is just kind of like in the general vicinity. However, with that 9060 XT announcement, the launch, the actual sale date is still expected to be sometime in June. However, looking at the 9070 GRE, originally that was supposed to launch on May 8th, but however has been rescheduled for Q4. So several more months to wait in case you wanted that more affordable, better performing graphics card. Doesn't look like you're gonna be able to scoop it up just yet, but what you can scoop up, today's video sponsor. Shoes are something that pretty much everyone wears pretty much every day, so why can they be so uncomfortable? Lucky for you, these shoes here from Vessi feel like you're pretty much just wearing socks, and they're sponsoring today's video. Personally, I've been rocking my Vessis for several years now, with my wife following suit. More recently, my office manager Kyler has joined the Vessi crew, and now my business guy Michael is finally seeing the light with his brand new Stormburst high tops. Being the outdoorsy guy that he is, Michael is going to really get some good use out of these shoes. Vessi's lightweight design and all-day comfort make the Stormburst a great all-in-one shoe. Whether it's a fall camping trip or a summer hike after a fresh rain, Vessi's super special waterproof fabric, Dymatex, is going to keep his socks dry from the summer rain and toasty warm on a cool fall day. Specifically with the Stormburst high tops, you get that extra height around your ankles, giving you even more protection from water and other gunk getting in your shoes. Along with the Dymatex upper, the outsole also has a nice and chunky pattern so you can trust your footing even on slippery surfaces. Kyler actually took a Stormburst up Lion's Head in Cape Town. And as you've seen by now, Michael picked this very earthy fog pine colorway, but Vessi offers a few other colorways like black and white. If you're wanting a shoe that can effortlessly go from town to trail, then it's time to take on every day with the waterproof Vessi Stormburst sneakers. Visit vessi.com/UFD Tech now for 15% off your first pair at checkout and start exploring without limits. Thanks to Vessi for the rockin' kicks and sponsoring today's video. Well, I don't know how the CEO of Discord wears his shoes, but he used them to step down from his role as part of leadership at the Discord company, and stepping into his shoes is a former executive of Activision Blizzard, making it so that there is a shakeup at the top. One of the co-founders is still on as the chief technology officer, so that's still happening. However, one of the reasons you might be asking why is the CEO leaving, it's likely very much because Discord is looking to go public as a stock traded company. An initial public offering is expected to be in the works sometime soon, so them just transitioning out of whatever founder was there and getting a more experienced person in that role as CEO who has worked in a publicly traded high-profile gaming-esque company before is likely going to assist them in all of that. And what's assisting the Switch 2 in its performance of running video games? We now have the details on what the chip is called. We've obviously known that it's been a custom NVIDIA SoC, and now it's been spotted. It's the Tegra T239. That is the area code for Southwest Florida. There you go. That's the name of the chip. Doesn't really mean a whole lot. It's just there. It's just a fun little fact for you. But I got an unfun fact for you, unfortunately. According to reports going on behind the scenes right now, Intel, with all of its shakeups and earnings reports that's supposed to come out today, they're also planning to lay off 20% of their staff, which is going to be roughly 20,000 people. Bloomberg indicating that they are doing this to streamline management operations and refocus them with an engineering-driven culture. They already cut 15,000 jobs back in August, and now it looks like they're gonna cut even more jobs than that moving forward, just with all of the changes and shakeups that they've got going on. So this will probably bring their headcount to sub 100,000. We'll see if that actually helps to put Intel on the right path, if they'll be able to get their financials in order as well as their engineering to make it so that they're competitive again. I would like to see the competition, don't like to see people losing their jobs, but I do like to see Reece provide us with deals.
Yo, welcome back to UFD Deals, bringing the hottest tech deals on the internet, and I'll jump straight into it today with our first deal, which is the SteelSeries QCK XL gaming mousepad, which you can pick up for only $12.49, making it $12.50 off. I have one, it's my weekly rotation mousepad, and I highly recommend it. But then next up, we have these Oaknose PSU cable extension kits, available in white and other colors for only $15.99 with a coupon applied, making it $5 off. And then lastly today, we have a bit of a combo with the Spacious 65-watt 30,000 milliamp hour power bank and charger, which comes bundled with a smaller 45-watt 10,000 milliamp hour charger as a combo kit for only $55.99, making it $73.99 off. You can grab one for yourself and one for someone else if you want to share. And hey, with that, the deals are done. You can find these and more linked in the video description down below. But until next time, I'm gonna hand you back to Brett for the rest of your hot news. Cheers.
Well, Reece, if you got a deal on a Gigabyte RTX 50 series graphics card and you mounted it vertically, you might want to check on it, because there's reports coming out that due to the thermal gel that Gigabyte decided to use in these RTX 50 series cards that they call server grade thermal conductive gel, it has been leaking out because it's vertically mounted, and with the amount of thermal goop that they added, as you can see here, it's quite a lot. The reports are that as you have it vertically mounted, it's just seeping down. Now, the thermal gel itself is not electrically conductive, so this shouldn't technically short anything out. It just might create problems where you're getting gunk in various situations that you don't want it to be in. Additionally, it could possibly create some dry spots where it has leaked out and now there's no thermal gel in between. But it's not just certain outlets reporting this, people even in the comments reporting that their Gigabyte card leaking in their height Y60. And you can see that thermal goop just dripping out of the Gigabyte cards. But it's not just thermal goop you gotta watch out for, it's hotspot temperatures that are going on with the PCB on the RTX 50 series cards. This investigation coming out from Igor's lab indicating that there's a lot of temperature issues that might be going on that are hidden from the users when it comes to the RTX 50 series cards. Now, you might look at these headlines and see hotspot issue. Gee, isn't that the sensor that NVIDIA removed on the RTX 50 series cards? I know you would be tempted to think that, but this is a separate issue altogether. The hotspot sensor that they removed was on the GPU die, and these hotspot temperatures are temperature hotspots that are on the PCB. So it's a separate issue, even if NVIDIA included that hotspot temperature reading that's on the GPU die. This would be still a story that's happening, has nothing to do with the GPU die. Separate hotspot, it's just a similar nomenclature. However, Igor's lab finding out that with some thermal imaging that the PCBs are getting incredibly hot, up to 80+ degrees Celsius, some of them even going up to 100. Certain GPUs that are being noticed like that, especially with their VRMs being put so tightly together on the RTX 50 series, making it so that the spots on the rear side of the VRM are getting incredibly hot. Potentially on the front side, it's harder to measure that, but the details on this seem to indicate that with these higher temperatures could create some longevity issues, making it so that these cards are going to struggle in the long run, especially with the heat. Now, a lot of that's just conjecture, but this is something that you haven't seen on too many other cards. You do see it on the RTX 4090 because that is pulling a lot of power, but not on previous generations of cards. But it looks like the RTX 50 series is especially susceptible to these concentrated VRMs getting exceptionally hot and heating up the PCB, not to the point where it's going to kill your card, but it could potentially degrade it over time. We'll see if this testing and this investigation yields a response from NVIDIA, if they'll come out and discuss this at any point, or if they're just going to sweep this under the rug and not talk about it, or it's not even an issue and this is just some anomaly that's being found on several cards. And I know that I could find you guys in several videos with your comments that you leave. I just want to inform you that we actually have a nice video going live this weekend. It's currently live for members only here on UFD Tech. We got a gaming on Mac OS video where we got 2 of the highest end Mac studios and tested out gaming on Mac OS to see where it is in the state of 2025. And as you can see by Kyler's face, If you're a member, you can check it out. If not, you can wait till Saturday is when it's gonna drop, 9 a.m. Eastern. Then we got a lot of people discussing the Oblivion remaster that I discussed, calling it a remake. A lot of people informing me, but really not, because I was aware of this, saying that even though Unreal Engine 5 was used for the graphics and effects, they layered it over the original engine, so a lot of the core architecture is still identical to the game. It's using two engines. It's using the Creation Engine and the Unreal Engine. To which there was other people in the comments that were like, no, it's actually based on the Gamebryo engine, even though Bethesda in their trailer called it the Creation Engine. So I don't know what you were trying to fact check people on there, but you got people like WorldGate saying remasters when they take a game, port it to another system, UE5 for example, and clean it up so it looks pretty. A remake is when they do all of that and change stuff, making it different. For example, the Final Fantasy VII two-part games are remakes. And then Christopher saying a remake features major changes to contents like maps and gameplay like Resident Evil 2 Remake. A remaster is primarily a graphical upgrade. Isn't this a primarily graphical upgrade, hence a remaster, especially with the double engine news? It's the same game at a code level happening. I just happen to hear the same information you guys are, and I'm interpreting it a different way. I hear that it's on two different engines, but based on how I have always parsed remasters and remakes, the details you guys are using to separate them still makes this a remake in all of the estimations that I see. If you look at something like what Naughty Dog's done, they have both remastered and remade their games. So they've remastered The Last of Us Part 1 for PS4, then they remastered The Last of Us Part 2 for PS5, but then they remade The Last of Us Part 1 for PlayStation 5, I believe is what it came out on. But The Last of Us Part 1 was the same game. It was the same game, but they redesigned a lot of it from the ground up. They didn't redesign the story. They didn't redesign things like the map or the content, really. They just took the game that they made and then they put it in a new graphical engine. The one that they made The Last of Us Part 2 in. So that's what I'm seeing happen here with Oblivion. Yes, there might be systems and elements that remain unchanged from the original game, but they also didn't just change the graphics. If it was just a graphical upgrade, we could have a deeper argument about this, but not really, because remastering comes from when you remaster things like audio, which you touch up the original, which is typically how remasters go. It's not that they get ported to another engine. I can't think of very many other remasters where they port it to another engine. Rather, it's just like higher resolution textures of the exact same game. Everything's the same besides textures get upscaled, typically with a few tweaks here and there. Everything that I'm hearing about Oblivion is, yes, graphics are completely updated, but they changed core system mechanics as well. They changed the combat, they changed the leveling system. Things that were in the original game have been changed. They remade the game graphically, and then it's not the same exact thing that they released when it comes to the core systems, although it shares a lot of similarities. This is a remake. They remade the game. They kept a lot from the original, but they remade it. The Last of Us Part 1 is a remake that keeps a lot from the original. You do have remakes like Resident Evil 2 or Final Fantasy VII where the remake is a divulgence from what the original was, but we could split hairs. I don't agree. I just don't agree that it's a remaster. Remaster would be keeping everything in the Creation Engine and just giving us higher quality textures. That would be a remaster. It's essentially slapping a graphical mod onto a game that's already out there, which you can do with mods. It's a thing that happens, which is why people get pissed at things like when Rockstar releases like the GTA Trilogy remaster, and it's worse than the game was with mods because they just broke some of the systems internally trying to remaster it. Anyways, this is not a hill I'm willing to die on. It's just a personal held belief that I'm just gonna continue to be a grumpy old man about. Back in my day, Oblivion wasn't ever remastered, it was remade. And then we got Trips MC3 saying, 3 of my bros just lost their jobs at Intel. All 3 were there for over a decade in process tech. 20K just fired. You typed this comment before I think the news came out. Yeah, your comment's over 4 hours ago, and the report on Intel laying off 20% of its staff was actually just under 3 hours ago. So I'm sorry to your bros, that sucks. This looks like it's actually happening. That stinks. I really want Intel to succeed. I want people to keep their jobs. Bummer. And I'll bum you guys with more hot news tomorrow. Hopefully.